everyone, this is Julie from Totally Holistic Health and welcome to my very gentle self-care yoga practice. So today we're going to really look at sort of, I don't know, a lot of people tend to perceive yoga as being very fast flowing and very strong, which obviously it can be, but the main thing really is it's all to do with being kind and being kind to yourself as well. So sometimes it's nice just to take a much more gentle approach. So today we're going to do a few very nice gentle sequences just to help sort of really nurture yourself. So it would be handy if you could have a blanket or a nice towel or something that you can use. We can basically start off with it sitting on underneath our bottoms. So if you just get nicely folded up and just plonk it there. And again, it just helps raise your bottom up a little bit, which makes it easier just to bring the knees down. And then we're going to just spend a few moments here just to check into the breath. So just try to imagine you've got a lovely thread coming out the top of the head, which draws the head over the heart and the heart over the pelvis. So we're not sort of trying to achieve this sort of feel where you're trying to curve in. We're actually really trying just to draw everything nice and energizing at the back of the body and at the front of the body. So just being aware of that lovely upright posture. Maybe even engaging the core just a little bit as well, just to keep you nice and strong. But also, we're being strong, but we're also being very soft and gentle as well. So even if we have this nice upright posture, we're still not rigid with it. We're just sort of gently sinking into it and creating that softness in the body as well. So just try to check into the breath. So in terms of your fingers, you can either bring the hands into Gyan Mudra and just spend a few moments just to become aware of the breath. All the time, just being aware of just bringing those shoulders down away from the ears, so you have a little bit of a space between the ears and the shoulders, and just releasing the jaw, and maybe just sighing out just to release any tension that may be left in the body. Just becoming aware of that breath, and with each breath trying to make the breath slightly longer and slower and deeper. Just slowing everything down. Wonderful. Okay. So we're going to start off actually on our backs, but with the blankets as well. So it's nice to, if you've got a nice chunky blanket, if you just fold it up and then roll into a nice long sausage. Okay, so we're going to bring that onto the mat, onto the length of the mat. Okay, move it this way around a bit actually. Okay, so we're going to bring our bottoms probably about maybe sort of 6 inches away from the blanket, depending on how long your blanket is, because basically it needs to be long enough so you can rest your head on that end. So if you've got a sort of shorter blanket, you might need to just move slightly closer. So we're going to very gently lower ourselves down onto the blanket. Not long enough, that's more like it. Okay, so what this does, it sort of lets the chest open up, almost like you're feeling you're wrapping those shoulder blades around that blanket. And in terms of the feet, you can bring the feet together into a cobbler's pose, which again is really nice just to open up the hips. But if you've got issues with your hips or your hips are very tight, and if you do have some more blankets or things to bolster up the sides, you can use them to support the sides, but you can also have your feet bent as well if you've got problems with your back. And again, use the breath. Just see if you can just allow yourself just to really sink in. So again, so we're just trying to release any tension in the body and just feel that lovely opening of the chest. And again, for here, you can stay here for, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. It's actually a really relaxing posture to start in. And again, you're bringing the fingers onto the belly or just by your side, which is ever is comfortable for you. And again, just being aware of that breath. gently just feeling lovely relaxation in the shoulder blades. So gently just sinking towards the floor. I must admit, a lot of people tend to struggle with something like this, opens up the chest, because people are so used to having that forward posture. So a lot of emotion tends to be held in sort of like the stomach area, so they tend to find that they're trying to protect themselves. But so by opening up this area, it can be quite emotive, it can be quite an emotional experience, so people sometimes can be a little bit uncomfortable with it. I know sometimes with me, if I'm teaching a yoga class, sometimes I tend to struggle with back bends because it's not the fact I can't do them, it's more the fact that it is quite an emotional release sometimes. So obviously just be aware of that, and if that's something that might worry you a little bit, obviously just be really mindful of that and how that feels. And it can make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but again, it's sometimes it's a nice thing if it's ready to come out. Sometimes it needs to come out. But obviously just being aware of how that feels with your body as well. So if you're not comfortable with that, obviously just maybe releasing out of this posture. Okay, so very gently, I'm going to bring those legs together, and we're going to come to rolling onto our side, and then come up into a seated position. Okay, so we can come into cross-legged position. Okay, so we're going to start off just by, again, opening up the chest and the shoulders a little bit. So we're going to just basically bring the right arm round and tuck it underneath the left elbow, or the left armpit, and then the left arm over the top. And just give yourself a really big hug, but also just come forward. Just feel that lovely stretch in the back of the shoulders. And then opening up the arms, really stretching back. And bringing the arms the other way around. Again, just closing up. Releasing out again. We're going to bring the arms into eagle pose. So bring the left arm up in front of us, so it's like just in front of your nose. The thumb's just in front of the nose, and bring the right arm underneath, so they're crossing over underneath. So some people find if they've got like one arm shorter than the other, which is absolutely fine. If you're struggling in that pose, just bring your hands together. So either back of the palms facing, or if you can, crossing over, so the front of the palms facing. But again, it doesn't really matter. We're not trying to tie ourselves in knots, whichever's comfortable for you. If that's comfortable for you, that's absolutely fine. So again, keeping the breath nice and steady. Again, having that lovely upright posture. Just see if you can raise the elbows up. And again, it's just a lovely release in the shoulders, particularly if you're stuck at a desk all the time. It's so nice. And then lowering the arms back down. And again, the same on the other side, so bring the right arm up in front of you. So again, the thumb should be sort of on the forehead area. And then bring the left arm underneath, so either the backs of the hands, or if you can, cross over so that they are intertwined, that's fine. But again, it doesn't really matter. And again, just raising the elbows up, so just feel that lovely stretch on the back of the shoulders. And again, we're not trying to hurt ourselves, we're just trying to just release that tightness in the shoulders if there are any. And then releasing the arms back down. Okay, so just going to open up the side body a little bit. So again, you can sit on your bolster or your blanket if you want to, just to help raise your bottom up a little bit so it's a bit more comfortable. And again, even if it's more comfortable to sit on anyway, that's absolutely fine, because we are sort of looking after ourselves today. So we're going to open up the side body. So we're going to bring the right hand down onto the mat next to us. So try to make sure that that elbow crease is facing upwards, and bring the left hand onto the hip, or if you can, just bring it behind the back. And what we're trying to do is trying to open up the chest, so we're not having the shoulder coming down, we're trying to make sure that the chest is nice and open. So bringing the right hand onto the floor, just see if you can bend the elbow down towards the floor. And again, just feel that lovely stretch on the left side of the body, just feel those lovely muscles between the ribs, just releasing a little bit, and all this helps breathing, it helps with the chest and opening up the chest a little bit. And if you find that you're okay with that and your shoulders are okay, just bring that top arm overhead and just feel that lovely stretch even more. Again, you can look up towards the top hand and towards the bottom hand. If that suits you and your shoulders and your neck feel okay. And then bringing the arms back to centre. So we're going to change the cross of our legs now. So whichever leg is in front, we're going to bring that behind. Oops, tie myself in knots. Okay. And then the same on the other side. So bringing the left hand onto the floor next to us. Again, making sure the elbow crease is facing upwards. Bring the right hand onto the right hip, or just tuck that behind your back if you can. And again, just make sure that that chest is nice and square on. And again, just lowering the elbow down towards the floor. So try and keep your bum cheeks actually on the floor or on a blanket, so you're not tilting too much. You're really just enjoying that stretch and increasing the stretch. You can just push on that bottom hand a little bit, just to enjoy that gorgeous opening out of the side body. And again, if your shoulders allow, you can bring the arm overhead and just see the fingers and the fingers, and then coming back to centre. Wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to bring the feet together. So again, because we're looking after ourselves a little bit here, we're just trying to make sure that we massage into our feet. And again, it's always a much neglected part of the body, so it's really nice just to enjoy that lovely massaging out of the fingers onto the feet. And then we just with a bit of a ring on the old, this area of the body in reflexology terms is actually the spine. So again, you're just sort of trying to mobilise the spine a little bit here as well. So it's quite nice just to spend a little bit of time just massaging those feet. Wonderful. Okay. So now the best part, we're going to come on to our backs, but this is a really lovely posture to end on. So we're going to, again, you can have a blanket, your rolled up blanket if you want to, but we need to find a wall. So we're going to have our feet up the wall, so anywhere where the wall is really comfortable is quite nice. So you can start off bringing your bottom as close to the wall as you can, and then we're going to just very gently come onto our backs and bring the legs up the wall. Okay, so if you are quite happy staying like this, that's absolutely fine. And if you're on your period or menstruating, it's probably best just to stay down. But if you're happy to, get your rolled up blanket, place your feet on the floor, just pop that underneath your lower back, and then very gently just rest up here. And again, this is a really lovely inversion. All the blood supply is coming to the brain. It's incredibly relaxing. And it's particularly nice to do something like this before you go to bed as well, because it's just a beautiful pose to do. And again, we're just using the breath, just releasing ourselves into the floor. And again, just staying here as long as suits you really. I mean, it's quite nice to spend about 10-15 minutes here. I'd probably give at least 5, and it's just nice just to use this as your time, just trying to just block out any other thoughts, just really have this time for yourself, really, this self-care, this being loving to your body and giving yourself some general peace and tranquility. And then very gently to come out of that, bringing the knees into the chest, just rocking about a little bit just to release your lower back. And then we're very gently going to come onto our side. Probably not quite as elegantly as that, or maybe so, I don't know. And again, just spending a few moments just to really, really enjoy that lovely sensation of groundedness, of peace and of tranquility, and just a little bit of peace and quiet for yourself. And just being thankful that you've actually had these few moments just to really check into your body. So thank you so much for joining me and really enjoy the self-care. Namaste. Thank you so much.